Today we're going to talk about solving systems of equations using elimination. So far, the two methods that we have talked about for solving systems of equations are solving systems by graphing and solving systems by substitution. So today we'll be solving systems by elimination. We use the method of solving systems by elimination when both equations are written in standard form. Remember, standard form is when x and y are on the same side of the equal sign. So let's get right into it and do an example. The goal in elimination is to find an opposite pair and eliminate it. Remember that a positive and a negative will cancel each other out. So we want to find an opposite pair to cancel out. If we look in this equation here, we can see that we have a positive 3y and a negative 3y. So the positive, if we were to add these two equations together, the positive 3y and the negative 3y would cancel each other out. 4x plus negative 2x is 2x, and 1 plus 1 is 2. Now you can see that we've gone from having two equations with two variables to having only one equation with one variable. And we can now solve this equation for x by dividing both sides by 2. So now that we know that x equals 1, we can find out the value of y by plugging in x to one of the equations up top. So I'm going to choose the first equation, and I'm going to replace the x with 1. So 4 times 1 plus 3y equals 1. Now we have an equation with only y in it, and we can solve this equation for y. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3y equals 1. We will subtract 4 from both sides, and we will get 3y equals negative 3. Now we will divide both sides by 3, and we will find that y equals negative 1. Now we need to write our solution as an ordered pair. So our solution would be x is 1 and y is negative 1. And we can write that over here on our solution line. So let's go through those steps again. The first thing we did was to identify opposite pairs. Then add the two equations together. When we added the two equations together, the y's canceled out and left us with an equation that had only x. We solved that equation for x. Then step 3 was to plug in 1 for x and solve the resulting equation for y. And then the last step was to write our solution as an ordered pair. Okay, so let's look at example 2. Our first step is going to be to identify the opposite pairs. We can see that we have a positive 2x and a negative 2x. Now we're going to add these two equations together. The positive 2x and the negative 2x will cancel out. 1y plus 5y is 6y. 3 plus negative 9 is negative 6. Now we will divide both sides by 6, and that will give us y equals negative 1. Now that we know y, we can find x by plugging y into one of the equations. I'm going to choose the first equation. You can use either one. So y equals negative 1, so we're going to bring that up here and plug it in for y. 2x plus negative 1 equals 3. To solve for x, we first have to add 1 to both sides. That gives us 2x equals 4. Now we need to divide both sides by 2. And the answer is x equals 2. We now write our solution as an ordered pair, 2, negative 1. Okay, one more example. Go ahead and find the opposite pairs and highlight them or circle them. Here's our opposite pairs. Now add the two equations together. Negative x and positive x cancel out. 2y plus 6y is 8y. 12 plus 20 is 32. Divide both sides by 8, and we will get y equals 4. Now we choose one of the equations and plug in y. I'm going to choose the second equation, x plus 6y equals 20. We know that y equals 4, so we're going to bring it up here. We know that y equals 4, so we're going to bring it up here and plug it in 4 in for y. So x plus 6 times 4 equals 20. 6 times 4 is 24. Now we will subtract 24 from both sides, and we will get x equals negative 4. We'll write our solution as the ordered pair, negative 4, 4. And that's it for today.